Hello, this is Gerald Jovan. Just a short remark actually, because I need to have a little bit more short videos. And I had a remark yesterday from someone. I heard a remark somewhere, and someone said, "Yeah, but in the spiritual world, yes and no does need not exist." So when you, for instance, say like, "Oh, I do not want this," and I think about it. Uh, the spiritual world doesn't understand yes or no. And in effect, there is a truth behind it because when you think about something, either with I don't want it or I want it, the energy in fact is the same. You give it attention, and a whole process on how you approach this is effective. It doesn't work with the positive or with the negative. That's the same thing with people who emphasize very much on the positive. They don't automatically receive that positivity. No, they confine things, and that's how the things work. How do you confine things? What do you work with? And if you really refuse to work with some other things, they become extreme, and the positive has this same extremism in it. And in a way, I said like, okay, actually, it's also quite funny. Even right and left doesn't really add up when I look at them into the sound positions and into the words that express the right and left. They're also quite limited, and the scope is actually quite interesting. And I wanted to say a few things about it, in addition to what I already said before. And also in the Chinese script, it's like the left and right, they almost look like the same. It is like they're all both directed to the right, because simply time is going from left to right, or that's our practical way. Like we have to have a start somewhere. We start left and we go to the right, and there we go to the forwardness and so on. So that's quite funny. And even if you analyze the words that express the right and left, it's not 100% clear that it is directing towards left or right. To the right it's easy, because the things already go to the right. Because to the left it's not so easy. Okay, sometimes you have to jump back to something, and then you have to go left. So this idea of going back to something is quite near to the idea of left. And how does it come that it doesn't work so well? Not in the script, not in words when I describe them. The logic seems to be that it is not 100% forward. Why? Because we use right and left only in the spatial frame. But the reality itself is more than the stable positions. And I will tell you what will happen with right and left if we put a point in space and we associate it with left. As soon as movement, time, someone else opinion, all these things coming, they move already. So when I start to move, when I start to change, when the other person has a different position, has a changed position, this left is no longer there. It's no longer left, or it's further left, or it's further right, or it doesn't work like that. So that means that left and right have a temporal position in space, but they also have an extra overshadowing idea of how do you approach this position, from any timed position. And then you need a certain mentality that says, okay, check these kind of things, check this or that, so that you come to that left position, that you come to that right position. That's also how right and left have these connotations in political sense, in different senses, in word associations of associations that we make with right and left. And even in these two characters, actually, this is the limited space in the middle. This is our space. This is a stable position. But you mean if you stay in that position, in these stable positions, and everybody stays in these stable positions, okay, you can define their left and right, but otherwise this left or right are seen from that position that, if I describe the symbols again, when you have that right symbol there, it says like I have my full working field. What is expressed there is like a mouth, but mouth is in every sense. It's also the mouth of a river. It's the mouth of where you start from. It's the starting point of a working field. And that's the working field in the middle. And actually it says, yes, I can go right because I have my starting point. I have my space. I have my focus. I have my objectivity. I can go forward with it. So I'm taking it to the right. The other position, you see, okay, it's jumping. You don't know if it's right, if it's left. Where is this position? You don't know this position. There's still work to do. So you go back to to a movement that you have to go to do. Some action needs to be done there. There's some activity to be done there. That's why sometimes these characters, this beneath character, is also associated with a working tool. But I also see it as going from one field to another. It's because not everybody has the same position, not everybody's working in the same field, is seeing it from the same position. You have to go through the correct working field and then do something there. And that's why left and right have a connotation in its full scope, which is going beyond these directions. These directions, left and right, in a way they do not exist in time because they move, they change. They are not steady positions, but the mentality, how you can approach them, is the same. And that's what I wanted to add to the previous videos as well. So I hope you enjoyed also this short video, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Bye.